Greetings to the ERC family. I wanted to reach out to you and give you a little bit of background on the new SEP Game Card that we've created. I want to first thank Bill Thompson and Adam Brick for their assistance. We wanted to find a way to make this a little bit more user-friendly and less challenging as far as the amount of time that it takes to score one of these cards. So I want to take you through this just really briefly. First of all, each member of the SEP invitees this year, they will have a binder. It's a great idea by Adam. We're going to create a binder for each individual. They will bring it with them. And the first page, they'll have a little profile page about themselves, how long they've refereed, who their mentor is, a couple little tidbits, goals, that kind of thing. So you can look at that profile sheet. And then behind it, we will have a half dozen or so of these SEP game cards for you to fill out. So what's going to happen is when they come in, they're going to hand you their binder, give you a chance to look at the profile, and then you will score their game using this card. This is not as in-depth as last year's was, where we had multiple sections and you had to grade every subsection. So as an example, last year, not only did we grade the section, but we graded each subsection. We're not doing that this year. So when you get the card, they should fill out everything except for your name would go here. And then during the game, you'll have 4 different areas. So I want to look through those with you right now. Positioning, call selection, game management, and mechanics and teamwork. Okay. And there's another place for comments for anything else that falls outside of these 4 areas. But these are the main 4 areas. And so what we're going to do is, at the top, for each one of these positioning areas, trail, center, lead, press, angles, and rotations, we're not going to ask you to score that. We just want to know if you observed it. Okay, so my guess is that for pretty much all of these, the answer is going to be yes, because you'll see them in all 3 of these positions. Hopefully you'll see them in press situations. You'll see how they get angles. They may not get very good angles, but at least you observed it. And then hopefully they've rotated. And then you would give them a section score based on this rating scale here. So, if you've observed them in all these areas, you should be able to have a pretty good idea of how are they doing with their positioning. So this gives you a little bit of a baseline. If they're at a 1, we're really challenged. For me, a 1 is that they're just completely lost out there. I would expect most of the folks to fall into this 2, 3, and 4 range. The excellent ones are probably the ones that are working really hard to get angles and moving exceptionally well, up or down to get angles, especially in the center and trail positions. So the comments, it gives you a little bit bigger box, so you can put, maybe some bullet points here. You can say, too deep in lead, would like to see you get better angles in center. During press situations, don't leave your partner. Just a few quick bullets. You don't have to write War and Peace, but this gives you an easier way to do this. Call selection, the same thing. Timing, decisions. Is it within the game flow? Is it consistent with the crew? Are we balanced? And is it correct? When I mean balanced, somebody asked me, what does that mean? If the other 2 officials only have 2 calls each, and this official that you're evaluating has 12, then somebody's not balanced. Now, it might be the other 2. It might be that this person's really had to step up and go get some calls, which would be great. But only you'll know what balance means for this individual person in this individual game. So just keep that in mind. And the rest of the stuff is pretty self-explanatory. Is their timing right? Maybe they're holding their whistles. Are the decisions right? As far as when they're doing it, is it within the game flow? Are they game interrupters? Is really what this is for. Again, are we consistent with our crew? And really, are they correct? This is also a great place to maybe put in some play calling guidelines. So as you've learned those over your career, and some of you have learned them a lot more recently with higher levels of officiating, you'll be able to share that breadth of knowledge within this box as you see fit. Okay, and again, there's going to be more space for you to write here, and I'll show you that in a minute. The third box, game management. Did you observe whether, how they did during dead balls, bench decorum, players and substitutes, strength and awareness. So, players and substitutes, are they aware that there is a substitute at the table? Did they miss it? That's a really important one we seem to have a problem with in SEP. But during the dead ball, are they staying with the players? Are they watching them cross? Are they making sure that there's no issues? Bench decorum is self-explanatory. Are they, taking care of the bench when they need to? And that doesn't necessarily mean a technical foul. Are they just acknowledging that there's a question or that there's somebody that may be getting out of hand that needs to be addressed? Are they strong? We don't want them to be walked all over. And are they aware? There's been multiple cases where we've had officials not even aware that the coaches were all over them, and that's also an issue. So that would follow into this box, and you would be able to put notes. Mechanics and teamwork, we were looking for, kind of an area that would catch most of this stuff, but appearance and athleticism kind of falls into the mechanics of being an official. And look, I'm not I'm really not the right person to be talking about appearance or athleticism. Let's be honest, but let's make sure that we're also, being able to stay with the play. Let's make sure that we're having an opportunity to be successful by having ourselves in the right place. Mechanics and signals pretty much stay. They are pretty easy to figure out. Whistle and reporting strength and teamwork. Are we being a good teammate? Are we working together as a crew? Are we communicating on the court? And that's kind of where this all comes in. I know communication is one that we kind of thought about as a main area, but it kind of falls into all four of these categories. So at any point that you think that there's communication lacking, it would probably fall into one of these four main categories and allow you to comment here. On the back page, you'll have this. So this will be a double-sided document that will be in their binders. But you can write in an area of focus. You can write in communication here if you want. You can say, I really wish that we would have seen more of this, whatever this is. So there will be great opportunities for you to be able to share this information with them. And then, if you're the person that gets them on the second game, you should be able to go in, and if I'm doing the second game, let's just give an example. Let's say Adam Flory was the observer for this game. I would be able to go in and see what Adam paid attention to. And if there was another game, maybe I could see that, Adam suggested that they get better angles in center and that they help more in press. And then I go to the second game card, and I noticed that Larry Johnson has written that they've improved in that area with getting angles, but that their press coverage is still lacking. So this would be an area that I would want to pay attention to. So hopefully this makes sense, and it gives you guys a little bit of understanding of what we're trying to accomplish with these game cards. I know there will be other questions. Do we take them? Do we leave them in the binder? The goal is that they'll take the binder with them at the end of the night. So if you need a few extra minutes to be able to write some information in there, go do it. And if you want to take the card with you, then I'd prefer that they take it back with them. But if you need to take it back with you, then take it back with you. I don't know what the timing mechanism of this is going to be. I know last year we were really scrambling to try to write something in there. And I hope that this change will allow us a little bit more flexibility in our timing. So, all right, thanks a lot. I appreciate you watching.